The Hatman is a well-known urban legend about a dark shadow figure that many people say they have seen during the night, often when they are half asleep or unable to move. Witnesses usually describe him as a tall, human-shaped shadow, wearing a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat, standing silently in a doorway, next to the bed, or even at the foot of it. He does not speak, but people say his presence feels heavy, cold, and deeply frightening, as if he is watching on purpose. What makes the legend stand out is that people from many different countries who have never talked to each other describe the same shape with the same hat. Some people believe he is a ghost, a demon, or a spirit that feeds on fear, while others think he may be a trick of the brain caused by sleep paralysis or stress. The Hatman has become a lasting figure in modern folklore because so many stories about him sound alike, and because of the way he mixes dreams, fear, and the unknown. Hey everyone, my name is Blast, and I like to talk about scary stuff, heavy music, and video games that I play. I make reviews, concept chapters for Dead by Daylight, which is like the main pool for my channel, and I also write discussion videos about scary things such as true crime, urban legends, and cryptids. Today, we'll be discussing the infamous and creepy figure known as the Hatman. This Hatman is often seen during a state called sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a strange and messed up state that happens when your mind wakes up, but your body is still asleep and can't move. It often happens right as you are falling asleep or right as you are waking up. During sleep, the brain keeps the body still so you don't act out your dreams, but sometimes the brain wakes before the body fully unlocks, sort of, and you become aware while still frozen in place. Many people also feel like something heavy is on their chest, making it hard to breathe or talk. It can last from a few seconds to a couple of minutes, but it feels so much longer. Because the body is stuck and the mind is confused, the brain can create vivid sights and sounds like footsteps, figures in the room, or someone sitting on the bed. These are not real, but they feel real in the moment. Even though sleep paralysis feels terrifying, it is not harmful and happens to many people at least once in their life, often during times of stress, poor sleep, or irregular sleep schedules. I, for one, am a regular enjoyer of what we call sleep paralysis. I get it every few months, and it's always when I either take a nap during the day or dead in the middle of the night. Sleep paralysis happens when the timing of your brain and body gets out of sync during sleep. Normally when you enter deep sleep, like we talked about before, your brain turns off your muscles so you do not move around while dreaming. When you wake up, that muscle lock is supposed to turn off too. Sleep paralysis occurs when the brain becomes awake before the body has finished switching off that paralysis, so you are conscious but still stuck. This is more likely when your sleep schedule is messy, like mine, such as staying up too late, waking up at different times, or not getting enough sleep. Stress, anxiety, and emotional pressure can also increase the chances because they disrupt the normal sleep cycle. Sleeping on your back is another common factor, which I often do too. Because in that position, breathing can be slightly harder, which may trigger the brain to wake up suddenly while the body remains frozen. People who have conditions like narcolepsy, PTSD, or strong nightmares get it way more often than others, but it can happen to anyone, even healthy people. In short, it is not caused by something supernatural. It is the brain waking up too soon while the body is still in dream mode, but because the mind is alert and terrified, it can create frightening visions that feel real. During sleep paralysis, the brain is awake and still in a dreamlike state, so because of these visions that we see, people often report seeing dark shapes at the edge of the room, figures standing in doorways, or shadows moving toward the bed. Some feel like someone is sitting on their chest, whispering, touching them, or leaning close to their face. Because the body cannot move or speak, the fear makes these images even stronger and more detailed. One of the most commonly reported figures in these experiences is the Hatman, a tall shadow with a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat who watches silently. Many people see him during sleep paralysis and believe he is not just a dream, but a real being visiting them. The fact that so many strangers describe the same kind of shadowy man with a hat is one of the big reasons the Hatman became so well known and frightening in modern folklore. So, I for one have felt presences, however, I've never seen the Hatman myself, nor do I want to. The mystery of the Hatman does not have one clear standing point, but it grew from many people sharing similar stories over time. The idea likely began from sleep paralysis experience that happened long before the internet. Because the mind fills in shadows with familiar forms, many imagined a human figure, and the shape of a hat or coat is easy for the brain to draw out of darkness. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, reports of a shadow man wearing a hat began appearing more often on radio shows, paranormal forums, and online message boards, where people discovered that others had seen the same thing. A famous boost came when stories about the Hatman were shared on the radio show Coast to Coast AM, which often talks about ghosts and strange events. From there, the figure spread through books, TV, ghost shows, and social media, turning a personal nightmare into a global legend. Over time, people gave him different meanings: a demon, a spirit, a time traveler, and a warning sign, which helped the legend grow even more. So the Hatman is not traced to a single inventor, but rather to many separate experiences that sounded almost identical, combined and repeated until they formed one shared myth. The Hatman legend has inspired many things in modern culture. Horror writers and filmmakers often use shadowy figures with hats as a slow, silent threat because people already recognize and fear that image. Some short horror films and online creepypastas are directly based on Hatman encounters. Certain episodes of paranormal TV shows like Paranormal Witness and A Haunting feature stories of people seeing the Hatman and treat him as a real entity. In video games and indie horror projects, creators sometimes include a tall shadow with a hat as a nod to the legend. Even characters like the Babadook or the Slender Man with the suit and hat style have been compared to him, showing how the idea of a watching, faceless silhouette is now a standard horror symbol. Online art, podcasts, and TikTok stories also keep the legend alive, with people drawing and retelling their own sightings. Over time, the Hatman moved from being just a private nightmare to a widely recognized figure that continues to shape how fear is shown in modern horror media. Because of this, people have suggested many different ideas for what the Hatman could represent or truly be, and these ideas fall into a few main groups. The first group is like the most believable one. It's a sleep paralysis hallucination. The most scientific view says that the Hatman is not a being at all but a hallucination created by the brain during sleep paralysis. When someone wakes up frozen and afraid, the brain tries to make sense of the darkness by drawing a human figure out of shadows. The hat and coat shape is simple and recognizable, which is why many people see the same form. The second group, a symbol of fear or trauma. Some psychologists believe he represents a person's inner stress, past trauma, or deep fear. The silent watching figure could be the mind's way of showing responsibility, guilt, or something the person feels watched or judged by in life. In this view, the Hatman is not a spirit, he is the shape your fear chooses. The third group believes he's a paranormal entity. Many people who have seen him believe he is real, a ghost, demon, or negative energy that enters during moments when the mind is weak. Something he feeds off fear or watches humans like an observer. Others see him as a demon attached to sleep or the border between dreams and reality. The fourth group. He's a shadow person or interdimensional being. In paranormal communities, the Hatman is sometimes said to be a type of shadow person, a being made of darkness from another realm or dimension. People who believe this idea think he appears in many lives because he is not tied to one person or place, but simply moves through worlds. Honestly, I think this view is kind of lame, but whatever. And our final, most interesting point of view is that he is a warning figure. Some witnesses report bad luck or death in the family after seeing him, leading to the belief that he is an omen, not causing harm himself, but appearing as a sign that something serious is coming. After going through the different perspectives of what the Hatman could be, he reminded me a lot of the famous slasher Freddy Krueger of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Freddy Krueger and the Hatman share a few clear similarities, even though one is a movie character and the other is more of a real-life urban legend. So, both are connected to sleep and appear when people are not fully awake or able to move. They are seen in bedrooms or near beds, and they have their victims in silence before doing anything. Well, Freddy has his victims screaming, but you get the idea. Both also create fear by taking advantage of movement when the person is helpless. In many times in the movies, Freddy has his victims sink into the stairs like in the first movie, or get sucked into their bed. That's also in the first movie. I would keep thinking about the first movie because I love that film specifically. And of course, the Hatman only appears when you are in sleep paralysis. Freddy wears a hat and dark clothing, his dark colored red and green sweater, which makes him look somewhat like the shadowy Hatman shape that many people describe. The biggest similarity is that both figures turn sleep, a safe and private part of life, into something frightening, making people afraid to close their eyes. The Hatman stands out as one of the most unsettling modern legends because he mixes real science with deep fear. Many people around the world describe seeing the same tall, shadowy figure with a hat during sleep paralysis, a moment when the brain wakes up but the body cannot move. Some believe he is just a dream image caused by stress and fear, while others think he is a real spirit or some kind of demon or watcher from another world. Over time, these shared stories helped turn the Hatman from a private nightmare into a well-known figure in pop culture, appearing in art, films, and ghost stories. Whether he is a trick of the mind or a true being, the legend continues to grow because it touches on something humans already fear: being helpless in the dark with something standing over you, silent and staring.